What's going on, guys? It's Stock Picks by Tim, and I'm gonna just kind of look over a couple things in the market, some things I've been noticing lately. Obviously, we just have max fear. I swear to God, like, everybody's extremely pessimistic, and I want to kind of just go through a couple things, tell you where I'm at right now. We're gonna look at TradingView's heat map. We're gonna look at Bitcoin, see what's been going on, where I think it can end up at, and also look at some of my favorite stocks. So if you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I try to put out daily videos, so I didn't put one out yesterday. I am working 7 days a week lately, just trying to build up as much cash as I can, because I honestly do think this is a golden opportunity to buy. And pretty much the worst thing you can do during this time is not have cash, in my opinion, is not be buying this crash, you know. Now, looking at TradingView's heat map, you'll see that generally we do have quite a bit of red. It is looking pretty nice. Did I say red? I meant green. And looking at small caps, quite similar story. You know, we've got ChargePoint up 6%, Astra up 5%, Workhorse 6%. You know, we've got definitely a nice day today, a nice little recovery for how much we dropped on, you know, the last couple of days. So that is nice to see, a little bit of a recovery. I kind of thought it was to be expected with how much we dropped. Now, my thoughts on large caps is I definitely want them to pull back a little bit before they would be my main focus. Obviously, in this channel, I'm definitely focused more on small caps. Even some mid caps, a few very select large caps. But yeah, I mean, in general, if we are really going to have this drop for larger caps for NASDAQ and for the S&P and stuff, I think we're in for a little farther drop before it's over, personally. As for small caps, I honestly think it's anybody's guess. I think we are at the bottom for small caps. Could be wrong, of course. I'm not your financial advisor, and I don't have a crystal ball, but let's look at a couple small caps, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on why I do think we've hit a bottom, and why I think that May 12th was actually that, you know, that max fear, max capitulation day. And let's start off by looking at Indy. Alright, now, looking at Indy, if you're not familiar with this one, you might not be familiar with my channel then, but this is one of my favorite, all-time favorite, highest conviction semiconductor stocks. They've got a fantastic executive team. Funny enough, they actually reported their earnings on the 12th of May after hours. And after that, it's just sent this one flying pretty nicely all the way up to about $8. We are pulling back now, but we did have that May 12th max fear. I already told you guys, you know, they expected upper line earnings. They were very optimistic about their earnings before it even came out. So that gave me a little added faith in them that they would have a pretty good earnings. And sure enough, they beat their revenue expectations. They even gave a good outlook. And this has just been kind of on a nice uptrend since it did break its uptrend. And it's fallen quite hard. And I really see that pessimism out there, guys. You know, people saying something's a POS investment. Not Indy. Indy's much too small. I feel like no one ever talks about it. But, you know, things like Bngo, even CleanSpark, just extreme pessimism. People just calling for ridiculous numbers down. You know, the same people saying something's going to go down to $1, $2, $3, whatever. You know, still 60% from its level it's at after dropping 80-90%. Those are probably the same people that were calling for, you know, Bngo for $20, calling for CleanSpark to get to 50, you know. It's the people calling for just an extreme upside, you know, Lucid at 100, whatever crazy stuff people were talking about, Bitcoin to 100,000 right when we're getting into the fucking winter cycle. You know, those are the same people that are just calling for the max fear, calling for these extreme low levels. Either way, there's always those extremes, you know. When we're in a downtrend, you've got those people just calling out crazy downward numbers. And when we're on an uptrend, you've got people calling out like crazy sky high numbers. And either way, both sets of people are usually wrong. And that's one thing I want you to get out of this video. You know, people just continuing to call things out farther and farther down. You can't let that, you know, cause you to be fearful to buy a stock you love at a price you like, okay? And for me, Indy is definitely a stock I love. Even under $10, I definitely think Indy's a steal. And looking at it right now, you know, we had that May 12th fear. This is very similar with a lot of stocks, and I'm going to show you this. And there's actually one stock that has come down more, and I think this is actually crypto related because crypto has been dropping quite a lot more from that May 12th max fears. Anything that revolves around crypto is definitely going to have a little more downward pressure because of just how much crypto has fallen. So now I wanted to show you a ChargePoint too, because this is the same thing. You know, we have that max fear May 12th hit about $8.50. From there on, we went all the way up to about $16 before now pulling back to about $13. I really don't remember people getting all this excited about it running up. I mean, people were like so pessimistic. Any little run up, people just don't believe in. It's you know, a dead cat bounce, it's a false rally, whatever, what have you. And this is just funny because I feel like there's more fear now in this from dropping from 16 to 13. than the fear in this when it was about $14 all the way to $8. I mean, call me crazy, but just right now I feel like people are like throwing in the towel. People are extremely, extremely bearish, and that's totally fine. You know, you're entitled to your opinion. If you're bearish, you know, much respect. I respect that. But I also give respect where respect is given. So you got to remember that as well. Now I want to show you another one here. We have Bngo here. It hit $1.20 on that May 12th max fear day. And by how people are talking, you'd think that we broke that level and are just hitting new lows, hitting new lows. We have spiked up from there, came up to almost $2. Now we're coming back down to about $1.50. We bounced at about $1.40. Now we're sitting around $1.50. You know, this is another case of people are so pessimistic on this one, but I feel like they weren't as pessimistic when it was even lower. It's just, I just find that kind of crazy to me. Of course, the macro environment, you know, people are finally understanding that inflation is going to be very hard to tackle, especially getting into this recession, because the Fed is going to be forced eventually to have to lower rates to deal with this recession and get us out of it. So they've kind of got their hands tied, obviously, because we are still in this point where inflation's coming up. The Fed's having to raise rates to still, you know, tackle it. I think there's definitely more things at play than just the fact that they printed so much money. That is definitely obviously the main issue, that so much money printing. But also there's, you know, other things such as Ukraine, the cost of energy, such as supply problems. You know, all these things do somewhat contribute to it. But yes, I do agree 100%, you know, that the money printing was obviously the main problem. And the Fed, or, you know, anybody is just blaming anything besides the money printing. It is 100% the money printing as the main cause, but there are also other small causes. You know, if supplies were better, prices would probably be lower in some cases. You know, same with oil. If we weren't having this energy crisis with Russia, and of course leadership, you know, if we didn't close down pipelines, this can all be debated politically, but I'm not trying to choose a side. I just feel like things could definitely be better. Alright guys, now I did want to show you CleanSpark because this is one that actually did break its May 12th lows, and now we're sitting at right around $4. I don't like to put people on blast too much, but someone was calling for CleanSpark to hit like $1, and I mean, to me, the only way this is going to hit $1 is if Bitcoin were to come down to like 5,000, 10,000. I find that extremely unlikely. And I mean, even look, during 2020, sitting here at March, we did come as low as about $1.50. And this was a couple months, but we were on an uptrend from $1.50. You can see that clear uptrend. This was max fear. Are we going to come down to these pandemic, the once in a lifetime health event? Are we really going to come down to this $2 area? I find it extremely unlikely. But let me know what you guys think down below about CleanSpark. Is this heading for $1? Or is that just one person's crazy vision? Just like folks calling it out for $50 on our last cycle. It's the same thing to me. People go to either extreme depending on the trend of the market. And I don't see this hitting $1 personally. I really don't. If this were to hit $1, I might have to take out a loan because I am that confident in CleanSpark. Looking at Bitcoin, this has definitely been on a hard downtrend lately. And once we weren't able to hold this support right around this like 28 to 30 that we were kind of chopping around at, we broke down from that and we just fell hard. We fell down to 20,000. I mean, you guys know me. I see this as a great time to add to Bitcoin. And I do want to show you something. If you're not aware of, you know, anyone that invests in Bitcoin, invests in crypto in general, should be aware of the halvings. I think this is something that people really don't pay attention as much as they should. I mean, a lot of people do obviously pay attention to it, but in general, you know, the new people, the small retail investors that are just getting in Bitcoin, that are definitely affected by price psychologically, I think they do need to know about the halving and the reason that this plays into cycles. And this could continue throughout history, playing kind of these cycles where things have a little bit of a downtrend as we get to the middle of the halving, and then kind of coming into the next halving, we start getting this uptrend. After the halving, a continued uptrend until we get to the middle point and we get into that downtrend again. This has happened before, and I personally think it will happen again. And I will leave you guys a link down below to this, but I mean, look at this. So back in November 2012, we had a nice spike once we had our halving. So in that middle point, 2014, that is literally the middle point. That marked the turnaround. We started downtrending from there. We hit near a bottom in 2015, 2016, next halving ran us back up. And then getting into our next halving, we were on a continued uptrend. We hit that middle point, 2018, 2019, go on a downtrend. As you get into the next halving, you start rallying back up. Where are we at now? We are now on our downtrend in 2022, 2023. We come up to 2024, we start spiking. I am calling this out right now. It's painfully obvious to me, and I'm just gonna follow history. I see no reason to look at Bitcoin any differently, and I see it as a great time to add, especially during this year, especially during 2023. I will be a continued buyer. I do believe that Bitcoin will break that $68,000 top, and then CleanSpark will be on its next run to the moon. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Stay optimistic out there. It's always darkest before dawn, and before you know it, we are back on that next rally. Just look back in history. If you would have bought those 2020 lows, where would you be sitting now? And just like that bull run, you know, people just calling for outlandish high numbers. It's the same thing during a bear market, people calling for outlandish low numbers. It happens every single time, and when you see a stock you love at a price you love, you gotta just add to it. But that's it for today, guys. Until next time, take it easy.